So we're going to begin again the fourth paragraph of ה'תשכ. Zeh Gamashnes Belial. He finished explaining that. Okay, Chazorah. What question did he answer yesterday about a Maimah Chazal on the pasuk Al Ginas Ego Zeradati? I went down to a garden of nuts. So the Medrash says, why are Yidden compared to a garden of nuts, and gives its answer, and he asks a question on the answer of the Medrash. In light of the above, we have the answer. What was the Shaila?
Whole point was the show that the
First of all, you have to see what the Medrash says. The Medrash says Kach. Kach has a kash in the Medrash.
Dino's ego is your
Huh?
El Dino's ego is your attitude.
You have to speak up, sorry.
El Dino's ego is your attitude.
That's the pasuk, yeah, no. The Medrash gives an pirush, and then he asks a kash in the Medrash. But in light of what we're explaining, you have the answer. The Medrash says, why isn't compared to nuts? Like you have a sack of nuts, of walnuts. It's full, and yet you can put inside seeds of sesame and seeds of mustard. So too, Yidden, they attract, and then their joints to the Yidden also Gadim. So Gadim are the mustard seeds and the sesame seeds. What's it got to do with our Maimer? The Medrash concludes, and that's the meaning of Umi Monoh Afar Ya'akov. The Medrash seems to be making the parallel, like the granules of earth. So to the sesame seeds and the mustard seeds, who can count them? That's the endless number of Gerim. So the Maimer said it's not an endless number of Gerim. There aren't so many over the millennia altogether, and certainly not an endless number. The answer is it's in a h'tשכ kedusha. The h'tשכ kedusha cannot be counted, for he said before, number one, he seems to be saying two things here and then later in the Maimer. Why Monoh Afar Ya'akov? Because what did he say earlier at the end of the previous paragraph? Why is it countless? In order to elevate in h'tשכ kedusha, is through Torah mitzvahs, rachava mitzvascha ma'od. Torah mitzvahs are boundless. So that's the boundlessness associated with the birur anitzutzis. Later he says another nakuda. It's not mugach, medayik or not, but what's the, we learned it yesterday, and he added another dimension. It is the toyo. That these h'tשכ kedusha come from a place of Monoh, who can count. They're riboy, they're relatively bligvul. So that's the meaning, that the Gerim is Monoh Afar Ya'akov, who can count, because we're talking about not just the X number of Gerim, but the only h'tשכ kedusha that Yidden elevate in the world, and that elicits an Eira bligvul, for the two reasons we just said. And that's the meaning of the otherwise perplexing medrash. Yeah, that's the summary of that paragraph. Paragraph number 3. So this is also going back to the Gemara, Oyev Hashem Sharitzia, in the mile of Sheorim HaMutziyonim B'Halacha, Mikol Mishkanos Ya'akov. So he started saying, certainly you have to have the Avodas HaTfilah as Achonah to Limud HaTorah. We learned yesterday. We're going to pick up the text a little bit into it. Because without Avodas HaTfilah, he said, A, you forget the giver of Torah, and B, you need to have the bittul in order to mechaven to the halacha l'mitasa. What's the Gemara that he brought to convey that? He brings a pasuk, but the Gemara quotes the pasuk in Barachas. Why do you need bittul to? Where do we see that you need bittul to mechaven to the halacha l'mitasa? And that's what this hatfilah is to induce. That's one thing. Philosophy smuchim, that's Abba Shol said that. And then he brings a second. It's a pasuk in association with none other than David HaMelech. V'avaye imoy halacha k'moise b'chol makay. Why was halacha like him in his discussion with the Sanhedrin? Because of his bittul. He doesn't bring it here, but the Gemara in Eidevin says that why was the halacha in general like Hillel? It's not in your text. I'm telling you something that's not in the Maamar. Why is the halacha like Hillel? Shenoichin v'aluvin hayu. Noichin, they were. And Rashi explains they allowed Shammai to speak first. They were more accommodating and humble. And therefore, the halacha is like Hillel. So Chassidus asked, that's the criteria of how you paskin the halacha? So one has the better argument. But the answer is what we're learning here. No, it needs bittul to mechaven to the Rotz and the Elyon. Not a better svara. Not a better argument. So he's saying, so for sure you have to have what the Avodas HaTfilah. The Maimon Chazal is not dismissing its value, but it's just saying that the tachlis of it all, Oyev Hashem Sharitzin, the tachlis of the Avodas HaTfilah and the bittul, and the Limud HaTorah is to the final psak din and the birur of the world. So up to the words V'zeho. It's the last word on the line, a few lines below number 79. We started to say yesterday. No, we did this, yeah. That's a diak of Shari Tzion. What's Tzion? Tzion is begematria what? And therefore what? And therefore what? What thing of Yosef is a Yosef Hashem li ben achar. Where this abirurim? So that's up to the next line, number 82. That Hashem loves the gates of Tzin over all of the dwelling places of Yaakov Ke'ela. Now the diak here is explaining another diak. First, he's explained the diak of Tzion. Why are the gates which excel in halacha called Tzion of all things? We have the answer because Tzion of Yosef Hashem li ben acher, that the acher, the one who's on the outside becomes ben on the inside, the child. But what's the connection also? Mikol Mishkanos Yaakov. Because the pasuk is alluding to, seems this is the pshat. The pasuk says, Eile toldos Yaakov Yosef. That's how the pasuk says. So what does Rashi explain? What's the Kashim Shulta Shamikra? Rashi has to give a commentary immediately. And he's going to give now the Pnimizdik commentary, which is all Bemesinted in Rashi. What's the Kashim Pshuta Shamikra? Yosef was his only child? What's it saying? Pshuta Shamikra. It'll tell this Yaakov, Yosef, Hoya ben Shvasei Shon. So Rashi explains. These are the Chronicles of Yaakov. Pause. It's going forward. It starts with the story of Yosef being 70. Pshuta Shamikra. But then Rashi goes against another Piddush, which is the Zohar. And that is that really the offspring of Yaakov is really Yosef primarily, because whatever happened to Yaakov happened to Yosef. His brothers hated him. The whole story, Rashi goes through their life story. And that's true with Pnimius now. Let's see. Mikol Mishkanos Yaakov, what is he? They wish to love. Sharitzia in Yosef is the Ikad of Yaakov, who's Torah. Avraham is Chesed, Yitzchak is Tefillah, and Yaakov is Torah. What's the Ikar of Torah? Eile tell this Yaakov is Yosef Halacha. You have a new Pirush, and Eile tell this Yaakov Yosef. Kedisa Bezoya, so he says, "Can tell this Yaakov who Yosef Dafka, who is the progenitor of Yaakov, the Ikar, the whole of Avedis Limud Torah, which comes as Akdam of Avedis Tefillah, it's Yosef, Kedisa Bezoya, Umevu Baruch Bebiyuri Zoya." As it says in Zoya, and explain the length, in Biyuri HaZoya, the Mittel Rebbe, Shechvivusa the Yaakov, Tachlis HaShleim Shaloi, what is the endearment of Yaakov and his perfection? Is bedarge, where does it manifest? Dafkin Yosef. V'hainu on the Chiddush. She'af shegam Yaakov atzmim b'chinas merkava. What does he need Yosef for? His own shleimus is not enough. It has to come out Dafkin Yosef. He's a level of a merkava, like Avraham and Yitzchak, or the chariot, completely bottled to likus, as the Medrash says. Ha'avas hein merkava. Nonetheless, where's the main chiddush of Yaakov? It dafka comes out in Yosef because Avedis HaBerurim. Shua Masbir L'chol Amoritz. He's the provider to all of the people. Haino, meaning, what does that mean? He sustained the world, he nourished the world. Haino shal yodeh nimshach v'nifol ha'bir l'mata b'levis biyah. Because Dafka Yosef engages the world and he draws down Elikos and elevates the world, which he did in Mitzrayim, which was the core of he is the core of the world. Not just Biyah, but all the way down to Mezah Tachten, our physical world, which is nothing lower. The words of the Alter Rebbe, that's Afar Yaakov, the earth of Yaakov, who implements and carries out the birur of Afar Yaakov. Yaakov meaning Yaakov is he reaches his shleimus in Yosef. Ohev Hashem Sharit Zion. It's important to know the psukim, the Maimar Chazal, and the Pirush of the Zohar and the Medrash, and the Chassidus explains it, not just a general idea. Okay, with the why is that important? Bottom line, you could say the one sentence. The tachlis is, and Shama come down over the Siburim. We have to have the Taich and Tzia and Yosef, Gematria. Why is it negir? No, nothing to suggest. Anybody?
If you don't understand Chassidus, you won't understand Nigla.
Okay, so you say it's a deeper understanding of Nigla. This is kind of quasi-Nigla. It's Medrash, yeah. Because this is all part of the actual process of Berurim, is Torah empowering it and Torah identifying it, that's the tachlis. V'zelo pashut. Because till Chassidus came along, the tachlis was not Avedis Berurim. Not even heard of it before that Yizal. He's Megalit. In fact, the opposite. Here to transcend the world and in a place Lamayla. So now in the Amkos of Limud HaTorah in Psukim and the Midrashim, we see that that's the Primis HaKavanah. And by not just here's we got a proof. By learning it and by Chassidus be Megala it in the Psukim and then B'Darsha Chazal in the Gemara. In Nikla, we mamshich the Inyan. That's how the Psak Din ends up. Torah empowers. The believable of Torah is brought to bear. To where? To Elam Haza in the Tzutzik Dusha, in the Afar Yaakov, and to elevate Afar Yaakov and to make a Dira La Yizbarach. It all has to be in Torah. That could only happen through Torah. Every Maimer is an Avodah to be mamshich the Inyan, Dafkin Torah. Kasha and a Pasuk and a beer and Maimer Chazal. Okay, not so much this Maimer, but in Makarav and Misnagid, you have to make it Nigla. You have to show them that Reichkeit of Chassidus out illuminates Nigla the Torah, Halacha, Psukim, Midrash Chazal, that otherwise puzzling. That's the Chitzoniistic hook. So tell me the net result now. So now, after we just looked now, how do we appreciate the pasuk of Oyev Hashem Shari Tzion Mikol Mishkanes Yaakov? What's the summary? So the Gemara says what? Walk it through. The Gemara says, in explaining the pasuk, it's a puzzling pasuk. What does Eibishter like? Shari Tzion more than Mishkanes Yaakov? What does this mean? So what does the Gemara say? In Gemara says, no, Chavre. Put me out of my misery. Zag yapis no. Huh? No. Gemara. Gemara Barachas. Tzion, that's the Tzemach Tzedek. That's the Shimis and Tilim. Oh, I wanted to bring. I made a photocopy of it. I left it at home. No, I didn't. No, the Gemara. What does the Gemara say? I did leave it at home. Got it on my phone. What? Sure, said about finished. Now, so this asks why. Why is this Oyev Hashem Shari Tzion? So the brief answer is because that's the way what?
That's how we accomplish it.
Right, through the Psak Din. Not the Shaklavataria, not even getting clear the different opinions. There you're left with Elu v'Elu Divelakim Chayim. But as you said before, we just quoted, Halach is connected not with Shem Elikim, but Shem Havaya. The Rotzen Elyon, Havaya Imay. Halacha K'moiseh B'chol Mokah. The halacha is like David HaMelech in every discussion. So that's the mile of Shari Tzion. So now the Shail is, what's the connection to Tzion? And then explains to Yaakov also. What's the connection with halacha to Tzion? And the answer to that is from the Tzemach Tzedek. That, go ahead. Gematria Yosef, and therefore Yosef is thinking of taking a ben and making him an acha birra nitzutis, and that also explains Mikoil Mishkanos Yaakov. We're getting a nuance here. It sounds like at the pshat level, God favors Shari Tzion kind of over Mishkanos Yaakov, which are set aside. The Pnimis Dikabir is, no, that the Shleimus of Mishkanos Yaakov is in Shari Tzion. What's the beer? Eile Toldes Yaakov Yosef, which means?
That Yaakov, who represents Torah, Yosef is the Shleimus of that.
Right, which answers why the Pasuk singles out Yosef over all of his Toldes. Because he's his Iker Shleimus. As the Zohar says, the Kol Chavevusa, the Yaakov, his endearment is that he produced the Yosef. What does that mean? The Almighty of Limud HaTorah is They should come down to Psak Din B'Poel and elevate the world. So Mikol Mishkanes Yaakov is not a rejection on any level. It's saying that the shleimus of Mishkanes Yaakov is where Oyev Hashem Sha'arei Tzion. It's almost as this Oyev Hashem Sha'arei Tzion, Hashem loves halacha. Where does it come from? Mikol Mishkanes Yaakov, from all the dwelling places of Yaakov, where the Limud HaTorah leads to the end of Psak Din. First after the Shaklavataria and Limud HaTorah. And then that leads to Yosef. Tzion, Yosef. Yeah, okay, continuing. Omnam Abir Dafar Yaakov. However, this bira we're talking about till now, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with elevating the sparks from the dross. And the two ways, from below to above, which means taking away the waste from the desirable from the food. And the other way, and above to below, taking the food away from the psoilas. So this is all bascholas havodah. This, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, we learned about this. But derech klal, the first bitter is the weekday. The second one is Shabbos, because Shabbos you're not allowed to take psoilas aloicha. But Shabbos you can take food from the psoilas. So Shabbos is the higher bitter. But then Shalashudis, the end of Shabbos, the Raivin, that's already oichem b'teich oichem, which is why we don't eat. In the classic way. So on the period of dealing with the psoilis and eichel omro misha darch berev Shabbos eichel b'Shabbos. See your toils on erev Shabbos will eat on Shabbos. So that's the toil during the week is the bitter. He's saying overall during the week is the bitter of both ways. I just went adding that in Shabbos Gufa you have also a bitter, eichel mitech psoilis, which is permissible, but the end is eichel mitech eichel. Then we come to the highest bitter. We're not dealing with extracting sparks from the negative, from the dross, from the waste. Yeah, it could be bitter. We're talking about a bitter from good within good. And that's the second part of the pasuk. So after the avoid of who can count the earth of Yaakov, the granules, now this is the higher avoid of who can count the seed of Eden. And the Reva also means a quarter. The Madrega number 4, as you said already earlier. What's the Madrega number 4? What's the fourth Madrega? Neshama shenasata b'tahiri. Gatavrosaitz atoitzat anafachtabi. What was the shaila that he asked? I mentioned it in the drasha of Shabbos. That was the whole drasha. You weren't here. What's the shaila he asked? Pashat the kasha on the tefillah tahirihi. How can you say it's toir before it's created? There's no it. It is pure, then you created it, but it only exists at the point of creation. How can you speak of toir before? So I told you the simple pshat in the tefillah is tahirihi is a general introduction. It's pure. Then but b'pnimius, it's a madrega. So if it's a madrega, how do you speak about it before? And what was this teretz? How can it be Torah before it's created? What's the answer? that the neshama of Pnimis is not part of the Bria. It comes into the Bria. It comes into creation. It assumes the form of creation. And the Yesh Ma'im Bria is like Yesh Ma'ayin. In the Ilam HaBria, it's where it assumes its real, individuality. But its Pnimius is Tahiri, Chelik Alikamim Al Mamash. That's Mitzad the Bria. Why? Because we are concluding Psuket Zimra. And what Psuket Zimra is seeing the Eibishter in creation. And then we're going to the bracha, is the conclusion of Elam HaYitzir and the gateway to Elam HaBriya. But then there's the madrega of Shmonesa Ad Nisvas Tiftach is Tahirahi. Complete bittul, can't even speak, not a nivra. Is that clear or not? So what's the answer to Berek al Neshama? The kid's going to ask you, how do we say that you created Neshamas and Neshamas Chelik L'Kalim Mal Mamash? What's the answer? It's not a nivra. The answer is, you just said you're clear. No, I'm just repeating what I just said. It's a kasha in pshutish al chassidus, ABC of chassidus. Answer is. So what does it mean? Atavarosa. What does it mean? Berek al neshamas. It is a creation. It's not a creation.
It takes on the form of a creation.
It's nimshach in the bria. It takes on the form. It's nimshach. It's drawn into creation. But it's pnimius. It's ta'iri. And where does the ta'iri come out? Dafka ne'elam has. This is the roiva, the fourth level. What was the question he asked in the word mispar? Beginning of the Maimer. He's going to answer it now. Beginning of the Maimer. It's a Pella, he asked. He didn't use the word Pella, but when it comes to the Madrega of Ya'akov, the Pasuk says what? Mimona. It comes to Madrega of Yisrael, or Mispar, which lends itself to a pinish that there is a number. Hey, talking. Yisrael is the higher dargel than Hashem. Kolshke Mekav Chaim, it's boundless. He's going to answer the question now. It means, as in sapphire, brilliance. So that answers the word Sfira. So I don't believe the answer because the Pashtus, it means a number. He's not addressing it. He's just saying, no. The meaning here is not to point to the number, although it does. But Sfiris or Behiris. And what about the Roiva? Umashim is Gala, Bechinas. Umashim is Gala. What is revealed? Bechinas Roiva Yisrael. That's the fourth level. That's the fourth level. Tahirahi. Roiva Yisrael, what's the meaning of the words Roiva Yisrael? Haino Amadrega Revish Misal, the fourth level, Bechinas Tahirahi. Shalmayim mi barosa, Yatzarta, Venafachta. So this avoid of Eichel Miteich Eichel is in Kedusha Gufa, the fourth Madrega of Tahirahi here, the true Blikvul. Svidus and Behirus even higher, it seems, than Mimon Afar Ya'akov, which is Avedis HaBerurim. He's not Meirich. L'chayre. Zeo Mispares Reiva Yisrael. And this is and the meaning of these words, who can count the Reiva Yisrael, the fourth level, the Primis HaNeshama, hu begiloi ba'ofen shel svidus u'behiras mispa. Is in a revealed way of brilliance, and that's conveyed by the word mispa. L'cha'era comes out. What did he say before about the Avodah Seberurim? Why is it Monoh Ya'akov? He said, really stress one thing. Why is it boundless? What was the answer to why it's boundless? Because the bitter happens through Torah. And Torah is blikvul. He does not mention Torah mitzvahs here. The Pirush is because we're talking about the Gilui of Pnimis HaNeshama, which is higher than Torah. L'chayra. Let's continue the ois. V'nin ze nase al the bittul b'mitzias legamri. This is a greater degree of bittul, al derech ha-bittul sheba'alish, Gan Eden HaTacht, Gan Eden Elyon, as we learned earlier, like the ascent from Gan Eden HaTacht, Gan Eden Elyon, Yediyas HaShlila, and more than that, right? Not the affirmative understanding, but the and what was the pel of Yediyas HaShlila? In a word, you use even Hebrew terms. What did we learn earlier? What's the pella? What's the wonder of Yediyas HaShlila? The mile of Yediyas HaShlila of knowing something by what it's not, over Yediyas HaChiyuv, knowing it for what it is. What did he say? Pella mamash, which we tried to explain. We explained it. Yediyas HaChiyuv is only the metzius of the thing. Yediyas HaShlila is the mohus of Elikus. We weren't here for that. No? We spent two shiurim on that. So this is what we're talking about now. Yavad L'mayim is even high, even in the Gan Eden Elyon, even higher than Pnimis of Elikus. L'chein meir ha'oil l'loy hele v'hester afilu l'loy medid v'akbala shel ha'keli. This is completely a revelation beyond all concealment, not even the measure and the akabala of a keli. Very cryptic words. It looks like, again, it's a higher avodah than Torah mitzvahs itself. It's gila neshama. V'aynish kolyin akeli, the holy of a keli, ein elal hamshech al galas ha'or. Not that the keli disappears, but the keli doesn't contain. The keli is only there to reveal the oil. Very cryptic. Shezayin mispar, again, the word mispar lashon svidus behiras. Again, it's the toyo became the tikkun. It's the toyo that's whatever they say berurim level 1. This is even higher. He seems to be saying, if we're reading correctly, that this is pure. The word svira goes on kelim. It's chesed, sviras. But what's the nature of the keli? Not to contain the iron, but to megala the iron. Absolute, the keli complete bittul. Shekoli in a keli in lahamshech legalis isoir. In other words, he's saying, it's explained earlier, not earlier, another Maimonides. The word, why did the Mekabolim use the word svidus? It's a language of the Mekabolim. Why did they use that? So one of the explanations is it conveys many things. The first thing is numbers. Now, numbers very limited. 1, 2, 3. Now he's bringing the svidus of behiras. How to reconcile the two? On the one hand, because the tachlis is, it's taka keli with its definition, but it doesn't contain. It reveals elikus in an uncompromised way of svidus or behiras, notwithstanding that it's a number. It's a fusion of kol and blikvul, gilui atzmus. This is the fourth dark. Can you repeat all this back? If you think about it, if you don't think about it, you won't. The Maim is not, it doesn't elaborate, so we're suggesting that's what it means. mean, this is accords with the general what the Rebbe's chiddush and machlanichs, especially the Rebbe, is that the tachlis is not the bid of the tachton itself. The tachton is that through that the neshama is revealed b'shleimus. That's what we're talking. That's oichem b'teich oich. That's all the achana. And Shabbos, at least the shleimus of Shabbos, which is the tachlis, the whole purpose of creation, is oichem b'teich oichel. The neshama go for higher and higher and higher. He spoke about the Friedrich Rebbe Yud Tmuz. He's not engaged in avodas ibrurim anymore. So what's now? Taliyas HaNeshama, and that's the tachlis. Oichem b'teich oichel. But that's not reached without first the whole nitty gritty avodah of the Yerida Neshama Lamata. There's no Shabbos without Erev Shabbos' toil. But then comes Shabbos. And that's a whole different avodah. But it's only Misha Torach Erev Shabbos. If you toil Erev Shabbos. That's the tzutzek dush. Again, in simple language. The point of the house that you toil to build, that's the birurim, is for what in the end? To share yourself with your soulmate, not the house itself. It's about you and your soulmate. Where are you sharing in the most intimate, deepest way? In this little home. This little Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is where in Daf Knei Lamazagash. This private little place. That's the Hirihi. Okay.